All right, thanks for joining me for this afternoon build. We're gonna build a shoe shelf for my back porch. Okay, so here on my back porch, we got a big assortment of shoes here, and we want to build a little shelf that will support these and can kind of store some more, make it a little bit prettier. Then also on the top, we're gonna feed our cats and keep the food away from this guy. So we're gonna start taking some measurements real quick, and then head over to the barn and see what we got as far as pallet wood, stuff like that. So I got my tape measure here. Thinking I'm gonna want the shelf a little bit above the windowsill, maybe like 36 or 40 inches, something like that. That'll put it, kind of, above the windowsill, and then probably as long as the window is. So that's about 42 inches, maybe something like that. So it might be 42 tall, 42 wide. So anyway, let's go see what kind of pallet wood we have, and then we'll see what we're working with. I have a pallet here that I took apart. This is just one pallet. I got a few more to the side here, but my plan is this pallet had some wider boards on it. It had 6 of them, so it kind of made it nice that I would do 3 shelves. I think I'm going to do a top shelf, a middle, and then the lower shelf just to get it off the porch floor there. So I have 3 boards here, or 6 boards here, and they're 40 inches long. But I think the bottom ones are longer, like 41.5. So that's the one thing you get with pallet wood. They're all kind of different dimensions. But so this one, 40 inches long, and then together they're about 11 inches deep. I think that should be good, nice solid platform to put some shoes on. The plan is to use these 4 smaller ones, which I think they're like 40, yeah, they're 42 inches tall. So that way these will be put on, kind of the edges for the feet, kind of the legs to get it up high enough. 42 inches total. I think I'm going to use this one kind of 2x4 sized piece to put on the bottom, the underside of the top piece. I'm going to show you what I'm planning here. Get another one. So basically going to build something like a little box inset from the edges, and cut it off, and then put another piece here, and then set the legs, I think, like down inside it, kind of like that, and then screw them in from the outside, something like that. Okay, so this thick piece, this is the bottom of the top board. I think I'll put this thick piece on the back. It's kind of unfortunate it's got that knot that's rotted out, but I think I'm just going to glue these across the shape. It's a little bit uneven. I think I might have to put a shim under there. But I want to put this back piece on to make sure I didn't put these too far back and then this board wouldn't go on. So I think I'm going to line this up even with the back edge, and then give these a little bit of a gap just in case. So I'm trying to brainstorm this underside piece. I'm kind of building it here. What I'm thinking of doing is, yeah, this will be the back, and then it'll be a nice kind of sturdy piece of wood that'll be on the back side and kind of give it some rigidity. The front, I'm going to put this piece, and I want it centered because I cut the nails off so the nails will line up. I didn't want it to be kind of off to the side, so you'd see the nails on one side over here and not on the other. So I think I'm going to center it, and then measure what the length of this is, and then just chop these off, cut these off here, and then maybe a little longer, now that I think about it, because this end piece, I don't know if you can see way over here, I'll do it over here. This piece over here, I'm going to be wanting behind the front, so that way you won't be able to see the end of the board, so it'll be covered here. But then have this board in front of this one, so you'll see from the side, you won't see this side piece. I think that's what I'm going to do. So that means I have to cut this board longer, longer than this one by the thickness of this times 2 for both sides. So let's get to measuring and cutting, and then we'll start putting it together. Thinking as I go here. So anyway, let's go do that, and I'll bring you in after I got it all cut. Well, I hope you don't get mad at me, but I went ahead and glued down the bottom square, kind of, you know, the base support for this thing. Was doing that the other day and just didn't film it, but we kind of get the gist. You know, I was kind of go over it earlier, is that, you know, glue everything down and let it sit. You really can just let it sit for an hour or two and be kind of, you know, real ginger with it. But now we're gonna do shoot some finish nails in. The glue does, you know, support it pretty good, but you know, now you need to put some nails in to get it, you know, really good and supported. I want to use some finish nails. Obviously screws would be better, but I want it to look like you can't see how it was put together, at least for this part of it. So I got a nail gun with I think it's 1.25 inch length finish nails, and we're gonna start shooting nails in here on the edges, and then we'll flip it over and we'll try to shoot some down through the top, down into the sides here, and we'll go from there. Okay, now that that's nailed in around the edges, I'm gonna flip it over and nail it from the top down. So another thing is that while you can nail it in from the top with finish nails, it's really not gonna secure it too much. You know, just kind of human nature, when you go to move this thing after it's built, you're gonna wanna pick it up from the top. And in doing that, everything that's gonna hang from this support piece that's just glued, and it would have finish nails through it. So that's really not a lot of support. So I'm probably gonna do is end up putting some screws in the top. What I may do is try to find, if I have some, get some kind of old rusty looking screws, so it will kind of match these old nails. So it'll kind of look like it was built all together, you know. So it would look odd if you had these nice shiny, you know, chrome looking screws in the top. It would just kind of take away from it. So I'm going to shoot some finish nails into the top just to kind of hold it a little bit, and then probably at the very end we'll put those screws in. I got to search for some. I'm not sure if I have any you know, old rusty screws that I can use. It's always good to save stuff like that, so for projects like this. So I'll go ahead and nail this up, and then we'll bring you in for the next step, is when we'll put the legs on. And we'll go from there. Well, now that we have the top done, all nailed in, everything, it's time to do the legs. So this next part, we're gonna do this, basically just installing it inside this, you know, main square piece here, rectangle piece. And so we're gonna install it in here and glue it down, and then also you know, probably put some finish nails in it as well. Same deal as I'm gonna try to find some screws that are rusty that I can screw these in with. So the issue we have here is that, you know, none of this wood is the same length, even though it's from the same pallet. So mainly I'm just going to put it all together and then go to the miter saw, just get it all lined up, and then just cut it off all at one length, so it all is the same length, so the table doesn't rock on us. But the other thing is getting these perpendicular. You know, how do you keep that from going? And you get some trusty clamps and a square. So a speed square would work, but I have this old one that I found when we bought the property. It was on the ground, and so this is just it gives us a more of a surface area for us to be sure that it is 90 degrees. So we'll have it this way, and then I'll have, you know, check the other direction and then clamp it down. The issue is, once I clamp it, it may, you know, clamp off to the side, so we might have to put some shims in there temporarily, you know, just shove some nails or something just to keep it secured while we clamp it and you know, nail it in. So let's kind of get to doing all that, and I'll bring you back when I'm trying to get this squared up. So now we're going to build the middle shelf right here. But basically what I'm first going to do is, on the inside of this, I'm going to put a horizontal piece just like this. Okay, so measuring from inside, it is 34.5 inches. I ended up finding some shorter finish nails, so I did just shoot it from the back side. I got the back kind of metal support on, so let's see what this looks like. Well, here it is. It's finished up. We've got the shoe shelf set in place with all our shoes on it. Looks like we got a little bit of gap for some more here. We're going to be putting the cat's food dishes up top, which I think is a little. I think it's going to be high enough that keeps the dogs away. So anyway, so I appreciate you guys sticking around for this project, this kind of afternoon build. Even though it technically took me more than a day. But that's just because of scheduling reasons. But it really could just take you an afternoon to get this done. Anyway, I appreciate you guys sticking around for this one. If you would, subscribe to this channel and like this video. It really helps me out.